Welcome to Flim OV. Today we will discuss the 2015 movie The Silenced. The one line of the story follows a young woman who arrives at a secluded boarding school in the woods. As she tries to connect with others, she becomes suspicious of her surroundings and ultimately uncovers a dark secret about the school, leading her to plan an escape. Before we dive into the film, please subscribe to my channel for all types of Korean movies. Set in 1938 during Japanese rule in Korea, the film begins with a woman driving her teenage stepdaughter, Shizuko, to an all-girls sanatorium. This school is meant to help sick girls regain their health through diet and medicine. Shizuko is reluctant to leave her family, but her stepmother insists on leaving her there while she travels to Tokyo to meet her husband. The other girls at the school eagerly watch as Shizuko arrives. The principal assures her that she will be healthy soon, but the school counselor goes through her belongings, discarding everything except her clothes. When Shizuko tries to keep her notebook, the counselor punishes her. Kazue, a kind girl at the sanatorium, comforts Shizuko, explaining that the counselor's behavior is typical for newcomers. As time passes, Shizuko is introduced to her classmates in embroidery class, where they are puzzled by her name. A girl named Kihira helps her adjust and becomes her friend. Before bedtime, the girls are given a strange medicine meant to enhance their health. Shizuko doesn't pay much attention and eats like everyone else. At midnight, Yuka, the unspoken leader of the girls, wakes Shizuko and takes her to another room. There she bullies Shizuko and throws pebbles at her. Suddenly, Shizuko coughs up blood and collapses. Kazue arrives and tells the girls to leave. She and Yuka were once friends but now they are rivals. The next morning, Shizuko is called to the principal's office. The principal gives her a strange tea and explains a competition. Each year, 2 outstanding students are chosen to go to Tokyo for studies at a prestigious school. Every girl is competing for this prize, and the principal wants Shizuko to join in. After that, Shizuko receives an injection of medicine that the counselor claims will help with her illness. On her way back, Kihira approaches her and mentions that someone with Shizuko's name lived with them not long ago. It turns out that Yuka, Kazue, and the older Shizuko were best friends. One day, however, Shizuko mysteriously vanished without a word. Later, Kazue takes Shizuko to a hidden underground storeroom. She found a notebook there some time ago, and wants Shizuko to have it since her own was taken by the counselor. 2 girls become friends as they share stories about their past. At school, their physical fitness is tested by how long they can jump. In the next test, Yuka and Kazue achieve the highest scores. Meanwhile, Shizuko struggles and cannot jump at all. Later, during lunch, the principal reminds the girls to take their medicine daily, explaining that it is tailored to their health needs and will aid their recovery. Shizuko quietly inquires about what the old Shizuko was like. Suddenly, Kihira attacks her, attempting to choke her. Kazue intervenes and saves Shizuko, but Kihira begins to convulse, her bones cracking and foam appearing at her mouth. After a while, Kihira returns to her normal self, unaware of her earlier actions. Shizuko still apologizes to her. The next day, Kazue and Shizuko sneak out of school and wander through the forest. After some time, they discover a river and Shizuko is thrilled, having never seen one before. In the next physical test, Shizuko jumps farther than most girls, finishing in 3rd place behind Kazue and Yuka. Her health improves, and she feels it's because she now has a dependable friend. However, Yuka feels jealous seeing Shizuko and Kazue together. She places a dead bird in Shizuko's closet and tells her she will always be pathetic. But now that Shizuko is feeling better, she stands her ground. During breakfast, she puts the dead bird on Yuka's plate as revenge. One day, Shizuko finds a notebook under Kazue's mattress and decides to look inside. She sees a torn photo of Kazue and then spots a necklace on the floor. Before she can grab it, a hand reaches out from under the bed and takes it away. When she checks again, there's no one there. Suddenly, a creepy girl appears on the other side of the room. Terrified, Shizuko runs outside and bumps into the counselor. When she looks under the bed again, she is shocked to find it empty. Soon after, a girl named Iguchi mysteriously vanishes. The principal claims her mother came and took her home. Shizuko is skeptical because the girl under the bed looked just like Iguchi. She tries to tell Kazue but is brushed off. Then Kihira asks if she really saw Iguchi. When Shizuko says yes, Kihira tells her to check under the stairs. To her horror, she finds another girl in the same state as Iguchi. As Shizuko backs away in fear, she runs into Kihira, who is now choking herself. When asked what's wrong, Kihira collapses and struggles to get up, her bones cracking and body bending unnaturally. Shizuko rushes to get the counselor, but when they return, both Kihira and the other girl are gone. Shizuko is called to the principal's office, where she is told that she is hallucinating and needs a higher dose of medication. The principal also mentions that Kihira has moved to a different school that morning. This makes Shizuko feel that something is wrong at the school. Later, Shizuko and Kazue are on the playground chatting. Shizuko realizes that Kazue is kind to her because she reminds her of the old Shizuko who used to live with them. While Shizuko doesn't mind being a stand-in, she feels upset that Kazue wouldn't care about her if it weren't for the previous Shizuko. Kazue stays silent, showing that she only looks after Shizuko because of her old friend. Frustrated, Shizuko jumps like in a gym class and crosses the entire runway, surprising both of them. They head to the bathroom, where Shizuko admits she feels strange and asks Kazue for help. This triggers a memory for Kazue that still troubles her. She runs off to the basement, where she finds a large box that reminds her of something from the past connected to the older Shizuko. After this encounter, Shizuko visits the principal again, and requests to stop her medication since she feels much better. The principal agrees and tells her to return to class. In the next embroidery class, the principal announces she will pick a candidate she believes will win the competition. Everyone thinks it will be either Kazue or Yuka, but to their surprise, she chooses Shizuko. Once the teachers leave, Yuka confronts Shizuko angrily for taking her chance. Shizuko screams and pushes back after being hit against the cupboard multiple times. The impact shatters the glass. In a moment of anger, she grabs Yuka by the neck and lifts her off the ground. Her unexpected strength leaves everyone in shock, and no one intervenes. Shizuko only realizes what she has done when Yuka loses consciousness. Kazue then asks if she is okay. Despite the glass cutting into her palm, Shizuko insists she feels nothing. Kazue is stunned because her old friend Shizuko had a similar experience. She starts shaking Shizuko, demanding to know her true identity. In the next scene, Kazue lies unconscious on a bed with Shizuko beside her. Seizing the moment, Shizuko opens Kazue's diary and finds her name written throughout. One page features a box that looks like the one in the storeroom. When Shizuko goes to investigate, Kazue wakes up and follows her. A flashback reveals that older Shizuko and Kazue were in the storeroom one day when Shizuko had a seizure, similar to Kihira's earlier episode. Her hands were injured, but she felt nothing and kept asking Kazue for help. However, Kazue, frightened, pushed her away. When she returned with the counselor, Shizuko had vanished completely. They were told she was sent home, but the memory still haunts Kazue. Back in the present, Shizuko and Kazue sneak into the principal's office, searching for answers about the missing girls. Suddenly, the principal and a Japanese soldier enter. The girls quickly hide behind a cupboard and overhear the principal discussing an experimental drug. Once the two leave, they unlock a safe and discover files about drugs being tested on the girls. It becomes clear that the military is attempting to develop a drug to create superhuman soldiers. They are financing the sanatorium so the principal can test a drug on the girls. So far, they have discovered that the drug gives temporary superhuman abilities but ultimately leads to death. This explains Kazue's high jumps and the girls' seizures, which result in them disappearing the next day. In truth, they don't disappear, they die from the daily doses of the drug. The girls are startled by loud shouts. When they go outside, they see Yuka on a tree branch and she falls to her death. A counselor tells the girls to return to their room but notices that Shizuko and Kazue are missing. Outside, the two are running through the woods, trying to escape the sanatorium. They reach a military base but are stopped when a soldier catches them. When they fight back, Shizuko is shot in the back. Kazue whispers to Shizuko and then flees, while the soldier takes Shizuko back to the sanatorium. There, the principal sedates her and ties her to a bed. Meanwhile, Kazue goes to the principal's office to get a gun to save Shizuko. She finds Shizuko in a room, but before she can help, a soldier attacks her from behind and knocks her out. In the next scene, the principal and the counselor have sedated all the girls and are forcing them to inhale a test drug. The principal is thrilled, believing her experiment will succeed by morning. However, the soldier has his own agenda. He feels mistreated by the principal, who has treated him like a servant. Since the experiment is set to succeed, he no longer needs her and plans to take control. When he tells her this, she refuses to comply, and the counselor slaps her in agreement. Soon, soldiers flood the area. Meanwhile, Kazue wakes up inside a water-filled box. She struggles to escape but finds herself trapped. Later, Shizuko awakens and rushes to find Kazue, only to stumble upon a room filled with tanks containing frozen girls. To her horror, she sees Kazue in a box. She cries out for her friend, but Kazue is already dead. As the sadness fades, anger takes over. Shizuko steps outside, determined to take revenge on those responsible for her friend's death. With her superhuman strength, she easily lifts a heavy wooden door and hurls it at the soldiers and the principal. They respond by firing bullets at her, but she skillfully dodges and hides. One by one, she takes down the soldiers. In another room, the other girls regain consciousness. Empowered with superhuman strength, they attack the counselor and strangle her. Meanwhile, the principal tries to contact the military base, but Shizuko intercepts her. With little effort, she lifts the principal and slams her to the ground. As Shizuko heads toward Kazue, the principal shoots at her. The bullet misses and shatters the box, causing Kazue's lifeless body to fall out, which fuels Shizuko's rage. She grabs the principal and impales her against the wall. In the final scene, the girls have turned on each other, driven mad by the drug they were given. They have also mutilated the counselor's body after killing her. The sanatorium is in chaos, with bodies scattered everywhere. The only survivor is Shizuko, who cradles Kazue's head in her lap. The movie ends, highlighting their true friendship and bravery. Don't forget to subscribe and like the video. See you in the next exciting movie. Until then, goodbye and love you all.